Today, we're going to talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. It's a revolutionary, non-invasive technology that uses something as simple as light to treat some of the most complex diseases known to us, the ones hidden deep inside the brain. But just think about this for a second. The brain is basically the VIP of your body, locked away safely inside the skull. And while that's great for protection, it creates this huge problem. How do you fix it when something goes wrong? How are you supposed to get medicine to an organ that's specifically designed to keep almost everything out? So here's our plan. We're going to start by looking at the brain's incredible defenses. Then we'll see how light gives us a clever way to sneak past them. We'll break down its two main superpowers, recharging our cellular batteries and calling in the brain's cleaning crew. After that, we'll explore the huge range of diseases this could treat. And finally, we'll ask what the future holds for this amazing tech. Okay, let's dive right into the core problem, what I'm calling the brain's fortress wall. Meet the blood-brain barrier, or the BBB. You can think of it as the most exclusive, most strict security checkpoint in your entire body. It's this super selective membrane that protects your central nervous system from all the bad stuff, like toxins and pathogens. The only catch is, it's so good at its job that it also blocks most of our medicines from ever reaching the brain. And that security checkpoint, well, it creates a massive issue because brain diseases make up a staggering 30% of all known diseases. I mean, that's a huge number of conditions where our main tool, chemical drugs, is basically useless, simply because the medicine can't get past the bouncer at the door. So, if we can't get drugs past this barrier, what are our options? Well, this leads us to a surprisingly elegant solution, one that doesn't try to knock down the wall, but instead just slips right through it. And it's called transcranial photobiomodulation, or tPBM for short. I know, it's a mouthful, so let's break it down. Transcranial just means through the skull. Photo means light, and biomodulation means to change a biological process. So we're literally talking about using light shined right through the skull to change how our brain cells work. So how is this actually done? Well, this isn't some sci-fi laser that's going to heat up your brain. The light is non-thermal. We're talking about simple red to near infrared light, and it's usually delivered through a helmet that's just packed with tiny LEDs. This whole approach makes it incredibly safe, totally non-invasive, and pretty affordable. Okay, so how can a little bit of light actually do anything to our brains? It turns out it has two major superpowers. Let's start with the first one, recharging the brain's own cellular batteries. You see, every single cell in your body, but especially your super energy-hungry brain cells, is filled with thousands of these tiny power plants called mitochondria. Their whole job is to produce a molecule called ATP, which is basically the universal energy currency for everything your cells do, from thinking to repairing damage. So here's how the light gives those power plants a jump start. First, photons of light go right through the skull. Then, inside the mitochondria, a specific enzyme called cytochrome C oxidase, or CCO, actually absorbs these photons. This acts like flipping a switch, kicking the mitochondria into high gear. They start consuming more oxygen and, this is the key, they produce more ATP. More ATP means more energy for brain cells to function, to heal, and to fight off disease. But wait, boosting energy is only half the story. A more recent discovery has shown us tPBM's second superpower, and this one is a game changer. It actually activates the brain's own cleaning crew. So while you're asleep, your brain isn't just offline, it's cleaning house. There's this amazing network called the Glymphatic system that flushes out all the metabolic junk and toxins that build up during the day. This process is absolutely vital for brain health, and when it starts to fail, toxic proteins can build up, leading to diseases like Alzheimer's. And now, look at this. On the left, you've got a brain where toxic proteins, like the beta amyloid you see in Alzheimer's, are just accumulating. But what researchers are finding is that tPBM can actually stimulate the lymphatic vessels in the brain's lining, essentially supercharging this whole cleaning system to get rid of those very toxins. It's kind of like turning on a power washer for your brain. So, does just any kind of light work? Well, not exactly. As you can see from this chart, researchers have really zeroed in on a few specific wavelengths. See that big bar for 808 nanometers? That seems to be the sweet spot, probably because it's really well absorbed by that CCO enzyme we talked about, and it's great at penetrating tissue. But other wavelengths are being looked at too, especially for reaching even deeper into the brain. Okay, so we've got a therapy that can boost energy and clean up waste. When you put those two superpowers together, you get this incredible, vast spectrum of potential treatments. Let's start with Alzheimer's. The thinking here is pretty direct. Since we know tPBM can call in that glymphatic cleaning crew, it could potentially help flush out the toxic beta-amyloid proteins that are so tangled up with the disease. It's a physical solution for a physical problem. Now, with Parkinson's, the issue is the death of specific neurons that produce dopamine. So here, tPBM's other superpower comes into play. By recharging those cellular batteries, it might give these really important high-energy cells the fuel they need to survive and resist being damaged. And for stroke recovery, tPBM seems to help calm the storm. After a stroke, there's just massive inflammation in the brain. By boosting cell energy and promoting repair, light therapy might help reduce that inflammation and shrink the area of permanent damage, which could lead to a much better long-term recovery. And this one might surprise you, but it might even help with conditions like depression. We're learning that chronic stress can physically harm the brain through inflammation and oxidative damage. So by tackling both of those problems at a cellular level, tPBM offers a totally new biophysical way to think about treatment, moving way beyond just brain chemistry. So the potential here is just staggering. But let's be real, this isn't a magic bullet. At least, not yet. Like any new technology, there are still some real challenges to overcome. So, what does the future really hold? Right now, the big challenge is moving from a really cool idea to a precise medical treatment. Researchers still need to figure out the perfect dose, the right wavelength, the right intensity, the right duration for each specific disease. They need to find better ways to get the light to those deeper brain structures. And of course, they need to create clear clinical guidelines so doctors can use this effectively and safely. But the promise is just undeniable. One of the sources for this explainer puts it perfectly. They call this a pioneering strategy for neuroprotection. This isn't just a tiny step forward. We're talking about a whole new frontier in how we treat the brain. And that leaves us with this final, really big question. For more than 100 years, we've tried to fix the brain with chemistry, with pills and drugs. Transcranial photobiomodulation suggests a totally different path. So, could the future of brain therapy be less about what we put into the body and more about the energy we can use to heal it from the outside? Less chemistry and more physics.